Welcome back to the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Calhoun's. For Thursday's game, you can watch with fellow Vol fans at any of their 9 area locations, or you can pick up a Feed 5, Feed 10, or Party Platter to go, guaranteed to make your viewing party a hit with your friends and family. Calhoun's, the taste of Tennessee. Think of them Thursday when Tennessee's playing Indiana in the Gator Bowl. All right, let's welcome in the next member of our panel. We still have one more to go in the next segment right here, Bob Hodge. Bob, thanks for joining us. Let's dive into this Indiana thing. While I think most Vol fans wanted the Gator Bowl over the Music City, I don't know how many were going, wow, we get to play Indiana. So let's talk a little bit about Indiana here. Let's compare the two teams. You see their schedules. I hope you have your magnifying glasses there. Indiana 8-4, Tennessee 7-5, as you know. Indiana, of course, Tennessee had their turnaround. They won their last 5 games. Part of that, they didn't play any of those ranked teams late in the season. Indiana still played Penn State and Michigan late in the year. Their 4 losses are in blue, and you'll notice those are the only 4 bowl teams they faced all year. So they did not beat a bowl team all year. Tennessee, of course, lost to Georgia State, BYU, Florida, Georgia, Alabama. Both teams, in terms of the current top 25, both teams 0-3 against current top 25 teams. Tennessee with Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Indiana, Ohio State, Penn State, and Michigan. Let's take a look at bowl history. Tennessee this will be their 54th bowl overall. Indiana, it will be their 12th. Tennessee 29-24, and that's counting the New York charity game in 1931 because I wasn't around. Don't know if that was really a bowl or not. Next, 3-8 for Indiana. Tennessee beat Indiana 27-22 in the 1987 Peach Bowl, which was played, ironically, January 2nd of '88 at Fulton County Stadium. UT, this is their 24th bowl since then. Indiana's 9th bowl since that day in 1988. First bowl since 2016 season for both teams. But here's why I think a lot of people are expecting Tennessee to just kind of walk over Indiana. SEC versus Big Ten. Tennessee's won 4 straight bowl games versus Big Ten opponents. You have to go back to 2006 when they lost to Penn State for the last time they lost to a Big Ten team. Wisconsin, Iowa, Northwestern, Nebraska, they've beaten. Over the last decade, though, SEC 27-16 versus Big Ten teams, 62%. So it's not like it's 90%, 62%. Average score 30-23. So it's not that it's a 56-10 kind of thing. But the SEC over the last decade has taken care of Big Ten foes. Guys, my question for you, I've been hearing it on radio, you see it online. There's a lot of people looking at this thinking it's a gimme, a layup for Tennessee. And without giving away your predictions for the game, should Tennessee fans, media, be taking this a little bit more seriously? Or it's Big Ten. Come on. You got your numbers. We'll go with the 60%. It's Big Ten. Where are you?
You should be taking it more seriously.
Think so?
You're a 7-5 football team. And I think a 7-5 football team, this isn't like Tennessee is 11-1 and oh man, they got thrown down into this thing. You're a 7-5 football team, so yeah, I think Tennessee fans need to be taking it seriously. I mean, you're worse record than they have.
Thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with Bob. And I think if you look at the two teams, their resumes are very similar. Tennessee's schedule, as you put up, I think would be tougher overall, but both teams are going in still with a lot to prove. Neither one has a great win this season, so I think either team coming out of it would say that's the best win of the season for us to close things out.
Yeah, if you're scrapping out last-second wins over Kentucky and scrapping out wins over Vanderbilt, I would take anybody seriously.
Yeah, and here's the thing. You look at that, John. Indiana, you have every reason to believe is going to be able to score some points. They're going to be able to get into the 20s. Is Tennessee going to be able to keep up with that? And I think that's a real good question. I really do. I mean, you definitely should be taking this team seriously.
Especially with Juwan Jennings out for a half. And also, you're probably going to be without your starting center who's anchored your line along with Trey Smith for the entire season. I think that also makes it a more serious matchup than some people are.
And if it comes down to quarterback play, which a lot of these games seem to.
Hold on. Okay. I got that question for you a little later.
Oh, do you?
Quarterback advantage.
Well, I'll also go into the
trying to outproduce me here.
Aren't taking Indiana seriously. If this was say a 6-6 Penn State team, that actually
Name
had
value.
worse results than Indiana did,
Yeah.
then I think Tennessee fans would take it more seriously, just simply because of the brand name.
Yeah, or Michigan. If this was
You know, or-
Michigan. yes.
exactly. I think the brand name is one of the reasons.
And it's not just
Indiana.
fans. There's a lot of media that are just kind of, this one's already a win. So next year you'll be going in on a 6-game winning streak.
Yeah.
It's like
Yep.
you have to play the thing. But
Yeah, well,
okay.
I think that's right. That it's not a matchup to where you hear Indiana and you get excited about it. So you probably just come up with your thought of what will happen, then you move along.
I remember being at that Peach Bowl in '88, and at the time I was thinking, it's Indiana. So it really hasn't changed much over the last 30 years. I mean, that's just not a program that has the traditional name. I think that's a
Right.
very good point. All right, when we come back, we're going to talk quarterback. We're going to talk about Jennings. We're going to talk about offense, defense, a lot of areas matchup that could be the difference that you might not have thought of, and some areas where I would have given Tennessee the big advantage just up here. But looking at the numbers, okay, maybe not. We'll discuss all that. But next, VFL Daniel Hood joins us. He's a guy who went to 2 different bowl games with 2 different UT coaches. We'll talk about how Jeremy Pruitt might approach his first bowl game. Is it going to be a fun trip? Is it going to be a business trip? What's the difference? Come on back.